It's over. At least here in North Dakota and several other states, and I think a lot of other states are going to quickly follow suit. It's interesting because 2 days ago, a salon owner here in North Dakota filed a lawsuit against the governor and someone else in charge for forcing her to stay closed. And then just yesterday, the governor announces we're opening everything up again. And it's funny how that works, because obviously the governor of North Dakota, he's rich, he's powerful, he could probably easily fight off one lawsuit or just settle. But I'm sure they understand, since this was in the news, that other people are going to say, hey, we can sue the governor, we can sue the people in charge. So they could bring upon themselves potentially thousands of lawsuits. Kind of like when Scientology beat the IRS by having every member of Scientology file an individual lawsuit against the IRS, and they were able to take on the IRS, this powerful organization that has powers that other branches of government don't have. They can do almost anything they want to. They successfully beat the IRS by organizing, coming up with this plan. And whatever you think about Scientologists, you should at least give them credit for that. That was a pretty excellent thing they did, pretty admirable thing, beating the IRS. But it also makes me think of Jordan Peterson, who we've been talking a bit about lately, and his individualism. He preaches individualism to certain groups. Other groups, he's totally okay with organizing, but he wants to appeal to a certain group and tell those guys, hey, don't get into groupthink or tribalism, be an individual, and that's his message that he likes to preach. But think about this. Think about the alphabet group, the LGBT whatever. Think about that. How much power and progress would they have made for their movement if they just thought of themselves as individuals? But what happened is they organized and they got all this power to where now they can not only do whatever they want, but they almost have to be worshipped. My dad watches these shows like American Idol and The Voice, these talent competitions, and anytime they have someone from this particular group, these celebrity judges, these Hollywood celebrities, they have to worship them and adore them and tell them how great they are. So anytime you want to get something done, organization, strength in numbers is huge. And we've seen these protests all across the country, and often I don't think protests really amount to anything. I don't think they're too productive, but I think they've actually been working and sending a message. These protests going on of people wanting to go back to work, make money. Yeah, we were supposed to get that $1,200 stimulus money. It seems that the majority of people, at least that I've talked to, haven't gotten it. I haven't gotten my stimulus money from the government. My parents haven't gotten theirs. I've talked to quite a few other people that haven't gotten any stimulus money. And I could see if they were going to force us to shut down for 2 weeks, but it's been probably at least 2 months since they've shut us down. And they expect us, especially these Hollywood celebrities from their mansions, stay home, save lives. We got to flatten the curve. All their slogans. They're in their comfy mansions, they've made millions of dollars, but they expect this $1,200. Oh, that's enough for you to live off of for several months, isn't it? Even though most of you haven't even gotten it yet. So I wanted to talk about that, the strength in numbers, the power of organization. And you may have also noticed that Democratic governors, they want their states closed longer than Republican governors. The governor of North Dakota, he's a Republican, though he's probably much more like a Democrat in all practicality. It's just he knows to win, he has to run as a Republican, even though I think he's pretty much a liberal. But that's because obviously a lot of this is about ruining the economy. It's not about keeping people safe. Now, are people in North Dakota and states like this that are reopening, are we going to just start dropping dead? Well, we'll find out. And if we start dropping dead, a good portion of us, well, we'll see the people that are saying, no, we need to stay away from each other. We need to keep everyone inside their homes, and we need this lockdown, and people need their rights taken away. We'll see. Is it the plague? Obviously, if it was something like the plague, yeah, that would make sense. That almost wiped out Europe. But what we're starting to see is a lot of people are feeling that this probably isn't near as deadly. And it's a real thing, don't get me wrong, people are suffering from this, but it's probably nowhere near to the level. And another interesting thing that I noticed is you never hear about the regular flu anymore. I haven't heard about that all summer long, or all flu season long. Normally they're telling us, you got to go get those flu shots because this could really take you out. This can kill you. Thousands of people die from this. Now, the only time I've heard about the flu lately is to tell us, this is way worse than the flu. It's way more contagious and way more deadly than the flu. And they preach this, especially the past few years, about the regular flu because they tell us we got to go get those flu shots, even though a couple of years ago they said that it had maybe a 10% effective rate. Maybe it was as effective up to 10% of people it was effective on. Those aren't very good odds. So all of a sudden, we're not hearing about the regular flu. But we will find out here in the next week or two if people start dropping dead. Then the other people that want to keep everything locked down, of course, they will be proven right. But what's going to happen if life goes on as pretty much normal? It's not going to be normal, obviously, because they forced all these businesses to shut down, and it's going to kill off a lot of small businesses, which was kind of weird because the government mandates, okay, these large corporations can stay in business like Walmart, Amazon, etc. But any smaller business, you got to shut down, which is going to kill them. So it's kind of come into a weird thing where the government started dictating which businesses are allowed to stay open and which ones have to close. So it's not going to return back to normal for a lot of people, especially people that are going to not have a job anymore, people that will have lost their business. But we'll see if we start dropping dead, and if not, I think people are going to be, and probably rightly so, very mad that they shut everything down for this. But what's the good news? As this thing was starting to break, I was telling you guys, don't get too distracted. Focus on your goals and everything like that. Don't let this distract you from keeping your eye on the prize. And now that things are starting to reopen, a lot of states are going to be open as soon as next week. You should go back to focusing on that. So that's the good news. You can go back to chasing whatever goal or dream you had before this. And that's going to be different for everyone. Some people, maybe it's just to be the best father they can be. Other people, it's going to be to have some sort of business. Other people, it might be something in athletics. It can be so many different things, but that's what's exciting about right now. Instead of focusing on the news and all that garbage, focus on what you have to do to get things that you want happening in your life, because I'm telling you, it's coming back soon next week. So don't waste time.